The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Mid Carolina Service Company.
Mid Carolina Service Company is the first name to search for your residential or commercial HVAC needs in Lexington and surrounding areas.
Just go holler at Jason and Clint. They'll hook you up on the air conditioners, on the restaurant equipment, refrigerators, refrigeration, ice machine repair. They've been doing this for years. I know them cats forever.
Family owned and operated since 2006, they pride themselves in their quality work and customer relationships. Call 803-356-4153 or visit midcarolinaserviceco.com for a no obligation quote for service today.
This episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast is powered by Caddy Pack, the artist making waves with a sound that's bold, creative, and unmistakably universal. If you love music with flavor, edge, and personality, you need to lock in with her today. Hit caddypack.com to stream the music, watch visuals, and grab merch. That's caddypack.com. Don't play yourself, go run it up.
Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast.
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 The Hilltop Glove Podcast.
So, good morning, and thank you for tuning into another episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast. Today, we are thrilled to have the opportunity to speak with Manny Williams.
Yep.
A talented music producer hailing from Chicago. Manny specializes in hip-hop and R&B and has brought his unique sound to Charlotte, North Carolina, where he has resided since 2012. Since moving to Charlotte, Manny has launched his acclaimed Free Lunch beat tape series, and you're on number 7 now?
I'm on 7, yeah.
7 now.
Yeah. 7 dropped on the 1st. Yep.
Perfect. Oh, this is a good timer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. This series is a compelling narrative of his growth in music production, showcasing his ability to blend both traditional and contemporary sounds to craft something truly timeless. Stay with us as we delve into the captivating world of music and explore the depths of Manny's creative process in today's episode. How are you doing?
I'm good. How y'all doing? I appreciate y'all having me today.
Awesome today.
So this interview is very interesting because this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And by these belts, a lot of reasons why. So honestly, a lot of what we started with the Hilltop Glove and why we're here today is honestly from some of the work that we've done working with our homeboy Eric, especially me and Samaya. We're helping with the beat files. Yeah, shout out to Eric, Kinetic Life.
Yep.
And like I said, I think the last beat battle we had, as a matter of fact, I think it was like a few weeks before before COVID hit.
Yeah, it was a few weeks before. It was like literally, I think probably maybe 2 or 3 weeks before they went on ahead and started masking everybody up, telling them you got to stay in the house. So
that's crazy.
Before time.
That's crazy.
And with that said, I just want. This is one question we always ask everybody starting out. We have on the first time. So, can you tell us a little bit about your background? What was your childhood like?
Yeah. So, I started off. I was born and raised Chicago. I've lived all over Chicago for the most part. I spent the earlier part of my childhood, I would say, all the way up until about 7 years old. I grew up in Blue Island, so it's a south suburb.
Okay.
It's very mixed area, you know what I mean? A lot of Hispanics, you had whites, blacks, very, middle class neighborhood. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we, life happens.
Yeah.
Mom and dad split, end up moving to the inner city of Chicago. And I live right there on 107th and Union. So if anybody see this, that know, shout out Union, shout out the 100. So very, very, very experienced in Chicago. You know what I mean? It's I love Chicago. Okay, I love Chicago.
Okay,
Chicago is a really dope place. Yeah, once you learn how to navigate Chicago, it's not as bad as everyone makes it seem.
Yeah,
I think that's it could be a misconception, especially if you tune in too much to the media and everything, because it's bad everywhere.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just it's certain areas from living there. You know, okay, if I'm in this area, I need to act accordingly, or I'm not from there. I'm not going there.
Yeah, that's anywhere though. That's anywhere.
So you know, you just have to move. But it's a really great city. My block wasn't like super crazy. You know, my block these are older people that's been there since the 60s.
Okay. Established.
Yeah, everybody knew my grandparents.
Yeah.
You know, my mom, her brothers, everybody. So a lot of it, you could tell if you in the bed, if you in the lower, you in the hundreds or 80s or something, you know, if the grass is cut, it's, you know, it's a little bit better. You got people that you know, take care of the lawn and everything. Yeah. It's fine. You're okay. It's just might be another block or two down you got to worry about. But,
Okay. Great. So,
wait, I got to ask a ratchet question. So, so you didn't have any of those folks that were displaced from Cabrini Green in your area?
No, not in my area. At least not that I know of. My mom, she had a friend that still stayed in Cabrini Green.
Really?
And I remember we went there seldomly. She would go a lot because they were
tight.
They were really close friends.
Yeah.
And she took us through there maybe 3 or 4 times. We went there. You know, she was really nice, and I just remember always thinking, I remember always going through there, man, and like, you know, it would be hot as hell, no matter when, no matter what time of the year. Like, why is it always hot in this damn building? And it's like, that was my first experience with the project. My mom.
Those are different type of projects. So that's why I asked that question. I had that question ready. I was like, I'm gonna ask him this one.
Yeah, you know,
that surprises me.
Yeah, right.
You know, we were worried about Candyman. You know, from the Cabrini Green.
That's you didn't know that.
You know what? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wow, it makes sense.
Yeah,
maybe that's why people are really afraid of Chicago. Like
that know,
that helps. That helps.
Because you think about it, he was the only black horror. He's like the only
black
horror.
Yeah, black horror
villain.
Character, villain. Well, I guess the way whichever way you want to look at it.
Because is he really a villain?
Yeah, because is he really a villain? Because we know what happened.
There you go.
So it's you know, it's kind of a it's fringe.
Yes, it is.
But you know, Chicago's always been getting smoked though with negativity, especially when it comes to black culture. Because you think about it, like even back in the day. With shows, and I don't think it's a negative show, but you know how you have shows like Good Times, right?
Oh, that's a good point.
Right? Think about how the characters were, you know, like how everything was depicted on Good Times, right?
Yeah.
The theme song, right? And you just, you know, what's that song, girl?
Yeah.
Hanging in the child line. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Got to hit the little.
You gotta hit the move.
Yeah.
No, but it does have that city, and it's crazy. That city, Chicago, has a very like sordid history and past, and it's interesting and compared to a lot of places because of the influence of black people there.
Yeah. You know, the Great Migration.
Yeah.
You know, all my family is from the South. Like my grandma. All her family is from Birmingham, Alabama.
That's what I was about to say.
I got family from Mississippi in there. My dad's side, they all from Holly Grove, Arkansas. Oh. So, you know, my uncles and aunties, they country boys.
Whoa,
like you know, they still walk around in cowboy boots and they rock cowboy hats every now and again. So
that's dope. So I got this question for you then. So, because I know, we were born in Connecticut, so we're more tri-state East Coast. Yeah, and so of course a lot of people, of course, with the Great Migration, a lot of the folks that are up there came primarily from the Carolinas, because that's where our folks from, Carolinas.
Okay,
and one of the things I know was a big deal growing up was during the summer times. You know, coming down south, or if you're down here, going up there north, back and forth. Yeah. So, did you ever come down south during the summer, or like growing up?
No, because everybody left. Like, there's a story. My uncle Tom used to tell me all the time. He was like, he said when they all migrated. I think it was my auntie B. She left first from the story because she took a teaching gig in Chicago.
Yeah.
And then all the rest of the family kind of, you know, started falling down after that. And my Uncle Tom was saying, he said when he finally left Arkansas, he said he did about 90 and 100 the whole way. He said he getting chased by police officers on the highway. He said the closer I got to Chicago, the faster I went.
Oh! This is a difference.
Yeah,
And I will
I was
say
like-
this. This is a difference.
Yeah.
And you saw this in the movie Sinners. I don't know if you watched the movie. This is Deep South, Kevin. Not East Coast. It's a different type of situation they were dealing with. A lot of them, when they left, they did not come back.
They
Not
none of them
come
came
back.
back. There are still some family that stayed, like the land that my parents and my uncles grew up on. They share that land with another family, and that land is still there.
Awesome.
And, one of my cousins she just moved down there, and she's looking to get some work done and clean up the land and
Bring it back to life.
bring it back to life. Possibly, make something happen. Either renting out the space for a little while, but I haven't actually had a chance to go visit it yet.
Yeah.
I know my dad still goes pretty regularly, but I need to go and check it. I always see the pictures, but
go see it
I gotta go
yourself.
up there and see it myself.
Yeah. Now, because that's an interesting story. I always tell this, what is it? There's a conversation, I believe it was, just speaking about hip hop, it was UGK. They're having a conversation with, I forget the hip hop magazine. It was either Ozone or it was a Southern magazine, but they were talking about specifically, they're like, yeah, man, they were talking about like Miami music and their music in Atlanta. And they were like, nah, like, no, this is different. The South is different. And they're like, what do you mean the South? They said, no. Where we're from, this is the South because we're in a different time zone. And I had to think about that. And I was like, that is a good point. Once you get past certain states, you get past Georgia and you're moving into Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, you're in a different time zone. And I'm like, that is a different South. And I've studied extensively. I've studied slavery and stuff and American history stuff. And I was like, they were doing different things out there than they were doing back East Coast. So the stories and stuff that I hear from people that left those areas, and when you think about the cities,
Right.
there's a different understanding how those cities, your Detroits, Chicago, Milwaukee's, there's a different way those work and operate than the cities over in the East Coast. And I've always understood that's interesting because you know what also comes to change the experience of? Music.
Exactly.
Because y'all have some real different type of music going on.
Exactly. That's why, Chicago has a really heavy blues inspired sound, blues and jazz. A lot of these people were from the South that, migrated to Chicago and just made that sound popular. So it's a different vibe, man. And that's why a lot of times, like, if you guys have been to Chicago, a lot of times I've had other people go to Chicago and they're like, y'all almost kind of sound Southern. Like,
Yeah, exactly. I ran into more collard greens up there than I ran into up in New York.
Yeah, a lot of them, they still, those traditions and everything is still prevalent in Chicago.
Yeah.
So like we used to have a store called Moo and Oink. Yeah. We used to have a store called Moo and Oink. And Moo and Oink was just, it was the black grocery store. Like you went there, they had everything. Of course, all your assortments of pork if you're into pork.
Yeah.
All that was there. I just remember always going there as a kid. My uncle always had these big barbecues. Like, man, whenever he had a barbecue, it was lit, man. Everybody was coming through.
Fun. Neighborhood thing.
It was like he had a big. I remember like right before he passed a little while, he had bought I don't know if he bought he had to have a custom built. He had a grill that was probably about the size of this table and probably about just as deep. And
Whoa.
he would, when he barbecued and he grilled out, everybody was whole family. I mean, just.
We say, see that smoke, you follow that smoke. You follow the smoke.
Whole block talking. I mean, it's smoke going all the way down the block. Like, it's crazy.
Yep, because I love barbecue culture.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier today. I love barbecue culture. Some of the best barbecue culture is going to be out that way.
Yeah.
And I wrote I had to write a paper about this. I wrote a paper about this, about barbecue culture and where it comes from and why people do different barbecues. I know a little too much about barbecue.
Okay.
But it was really cool because one good thing about like with Chicago is the river. And you realize how important the river systems are. So like with the Mississippi River and the Ohio River and all those things, it's how products traveled determines what type of barbecue you get.
Yeah.
So you want to know why people have dry rub? It's because they got all the spices and et cetera that already came down from up north and way down the way to be sent out on the barges. You want to know why people use molasses? Because they had the molasses that was already coming out and had been processed. When it gets to their spot, it's cheaper to buy, so they use it in making their barbecue. Like you realize, so this is what happens. In South Carolina specifically, the reason why they have mustard-based barbecue is because we have a large German population that bought mustard over, and they use that to make their barbecue.
That makes sense.
And you're like, okay. Now, specifically, since we're here in Charlotte, in North Carolina, I got to say this part. The whole vinegar-based barbecue and even the ketchup-based barbecues, because those are the products that they were making here in the state. And that stuff never came down to South Carolina because it would just get shipped out from Wilmington, which was a big port town.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
So now you know why you eating what you eat. And I was like, oh, it makes so much sense. But the reason why I like it out there, and especially with Chicago, you know what they make? Beef barbecues.
Yep, beef barbecues.
Can't get that over here. They just eating pigs here, and I don't eat no pork. So I like how they do barbecue over there. That's awesome.
And you know, like there they have the big thing is one thing I learned when I moved to the South, between, you know, going back to that barbecue culture, is the barbecue culture is different from down here than it is in the Midwest. Like, because they consider barbecue here not the same as we would consider barbecue up in the Midwest. Like when I first came down, you know, I was saying, "Oh, we're going to get barbecue," and I was just talking about like a char grill burger or something.
Say it, yep.
And they were like, "Oh, you mean you just want a cookout?" I said,
different.
No, it's barbecue, right? They said, no, they said barbecue is, you know, we got a hog or something, or we got a brisket or something. That's a barbecue, a pig pulling. But up in Chicago, when we barbecue, we throw it's a barbecue. If you fire up the charcoal grill, like it's barbecue.
Yeah.
So it's just different.
Man, so with that said, this is actually funny to have this conversation. We had this conversation earlier, but of course, you know, we're here to talk about your music. Of course, you know, we mentioned earlier, Free Lunch Beat Tape Series.
Yeah.
But aside from that, as a producer, as a beat maker, for you, what is it like? Just your creative process, like just from start to finish. Because I've already heard all your stuff. All your stuff is fire. Of course, I've told you.
I know it was fire.
Thank you. Man, process. My process is weird because I really don't have a process, bro.
Okay.
Like, I mean, a lot of times I just kind of go in and just go where the vibe is taking me. So, you know, I would say my style is, I like to make the drums the star of the show.
Okay.
For me, because the drums are what's going to, you know, make the track walk. So, once I find like some good drums, that can really, you know, make or break the track for me. Like, you know, where I go next. It could be something that just randomly pops up in my head. It's not like a full process. Like sometimes I may start melody first. Sometimes I start drum first. Sometimes I might just mess with a kick for 15, 20 minutes, and then next thing you know, I got a whole track.
Got it.
So it's really strange, but you know, it's my process. So it's kind of one of those things. I've heard people say, "Why don't you go live and cook up all the time?" It's like, bro, y'all don't want to see me mess with a kick and snare for 30 minutes. Y'all don't want to see that.
Boom, boom.
Like, y'all don't want to see. I have to chop that stuff up. So, you know, the process is a little on the unorthodox. It's not like just because for me, you know, I'm a bit older. I'm not, you know, gonna age myself, but I started off on FL Studio 4. This was like my sophomore year of high school.
Okay, yeah, we know.
So, you know, I was just learning. I was just learning how to make music, and I always had the ear for it because you know my mom sang jazz. My dad, my mom was a jazz singer. My dad was in the church choir. They tried to make me join the church choir. I ain't like it. But
Sing, boys, sing. Little did they know.
Yeah, I used to be messing around. I used to sing. I used to sit in there singing like Barry White. So I was, I'll be the one in their office. So they used to get mad. So, but yeah, they all.
Oh wow, my fault.
They all were into music and you know, I always had the ear. We grew up with pianos and everything too. So once I found the program, it just took me a while figuring it out. So a lot of the process from when I started carried over to now.
Okay.
The only difference is now, you know, I can navigate a little bit more. My ears a little bit more primed to what I want to hear. So,
Gotcha.
in that sense, it's a little bit quicker, but the process is still kind of the same.
Okay, cool. So do you still use FL Studio, or you migrated over to something else?
Oh yeah, I still use FL.
Okay.
I do use other things too now. I use MPC now.
Okay.
Basically because to me, the MPC sound engine is just unmatched.
It's one of the best ever made.
Yes.
It's one of the best ever made. I will tell you, FL Studio is way better than it used to be too, which means you can use and do more with it nowadays, which I understand the reason why people still use it to this day.
Right.
It's in most major studios. You're going to run into it. If you need it, you can use it alongside the Abletons and the Logics and stuff like that. So
I
that
just
makes
find
sense.
it crazy, though, after all these years, that's like you said, how now it's in studios.
Yeah.
I remember, like, it used to be such a stigma.
Right.
You used to make Fruity Loops. Fruity. They even call it FL Studio, y'all. Use Fruity Loops.
Like, come on. It's FL Studio.
They like use that cereal thing to make music.
But I'm going to tell you what I do. It made it to the mainstream.
Yeah.
Especially FL Studio. And of course, anybody follows the show, they know, you know, it's produced stuff. But I was watching the episode of what's my show? Issa Rae joint. It used to be on.
We know the name.
Yeah, I don't
Good
know. I just
Lord,
too. I thought about it. Talking about Insecure.
Yes.
Insecure.
Yeah.
I was watching an episode of Insecure. You watched Insecure.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes.
You remember? Okay, there's because you know she talked to the different dudes, obviously outside of Lawrence, but it was the guy that she dated that worked on. You know, he was a producer.
Yeah.
And I remember one time she was wet telling him to like a bar or a club. He's you know, Issa Rae is very goofy.
Yeah.
Right. That's her character, anyways. Right.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, you know, he be up in the studio, FL Studio, making beats and stuff. And I was like, oh my goodness.
FL Stray on that.
I know. I was like, keep that in the house.
Funny because he was looking at her like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
But the whole point, what it made me realize was, I was like, man, like FL, so it's major now. So this is something
it's big leagues.
well known.
Yeah. There's no reason to feel any way about using it.
Right. You know, it really made everybody. It really turned everybody into producers. Like low key, like it's because it was so accessible, and unfortunately, you know, everybody was cracking that joint. Like I mean, everybody.
And the thing is, I can't be angry at it.
Yeah, you know,
I'm not angry at it at all because I will tell you this, and I'm gonna talk trash real quick since we're talking about production stuff. People use Ableton. Have you ever used Ableton?
I use
Trash.
Yeah,
trash software. Trash.
Yeah.
Trash. Trash.
All of the
trash
Ableton
software.
haters.
Trash. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say FL Studio way better software. Way better software.
Yeah.
I used Ableton. I remember, and I'm gonna tell you how. Again, I'm trying to date myself. I remember like a lot of DJs were using Ableton because you can like load up tracks and like load them to run.
We used to do that.
Matter of fact, we did a party for the purpose. I used Ableton to DJ that, Kev.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah, that's
This is how old school. I use Ableton and vinyl.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Right?
was back in like 06.
Yeah. And so I was trying to use Ableton. I was learning it, doing everything. And I was like, yo, this is such a trash software. I was like, yo, you can't really do nothing with it. They create all these like products that you can only use with that software. It doesn't meld out to anything else. And it doesn't help like with your creative ability either.
Yeah.
To like open up like speed and production.
Right.
And I guess this leads to this question. When it comes to producing, are you ever worried about speed of production? Like, are you trying to do quantity over quality at this point in your?
No, I don't care about speed. Look, I don't care about speed. How long it takes is just how long it takes. You know, there was when I first started, and even probably up till about, I would say like 2015.
Yeah,
I did not use any samples. I just all straight original. I didn't use samples. One, because I didn't know where to get them. I didn't know how to chop samples. I didn't even. It's nothing.
Shut up!
It's nothing.
You from
like
Chicago?
That. Yeah,
I'm come for you. Y'all have many fly vinyl studios. Y'all had like vinyl.
Yeah.
Oh my lord!
Yeah,
So you telling me, Manny, you didn't use samples up until 2015?
no, I didn't have. Well, I would say I didn't. I did try, but I didn't know how to sample. Like I didn't have any hardware. Like, I didn't have any hardware. I didn't have my uncle had hardware, but I couldn't scratch it. I couldn't take that with me. But I didn't have any hardware.
You were still killing it. You were still killing it though, bro. So I couldn't tell.
I was penciling everything in. From the beginning.
He was drawing it. If y'all know about FL Studio, again, he was drawing it. He was drawing in the beat.
Yeah, I was penciling every chord, every melody top line. I was penciling it in.
All right, this is more impressive.
And it's got its ups and downs to it. It's the time part of it. I was spending 9, 10 hours, 12, 16 hours on one beat. Like,
to make a composition.
There's been times where my wife, when we were dating, like, she would wake up one morning, I'd be working, she'd go to sleep, she'd wake up the next day,
I'll still be working on the same thing.
I have another question. So what about your wife and you making the beats? Did she ever get pissed off with you?
Oh yeah, that's y'all question. Y'all ask that question.
I'm trying to think, has she ever really, she's made like a little bit of fun, like, just because she like, you just over there bit bopping on them beats all day. Bit bopping. I'm like, for the most part, like, she's my wife writes comics too. So
she has her thing.
She's a creative too. So she understands, and I've been doing it so long. Like, I was making music before we got together.
Okay.
So when she came in, she kind of known, like, the two things I'm gonna spend the most time on if we're not doing anything is beats and video games. That's it. That's just the two.
Well, that's good for them because they know where you could be at.
Yeah, exactly.
There's other vices you can have that can be detrimental to a relationship.
Lesson.
Yeah.
Y'all better let that man do that. We'll take that. That's an okay vice. We'll take them vices.
So I know another question that we had was, of course, making beats is more than just creative work. Of course, it's identifying sounds and samples. Right. So you have a very unique sound. So whenever I hear one of your beats, one I've been to, like I said, I hear like I said, might be something you might collaborate, work with somebody on, or even at a show, right? I know, that's Manny, right?
Yeah.
How would you describe your sound?
I describe my sound as just, it's just Chicago soul, man. A lot of people, I was always trying to figure that out myself because I was like, it's just hip hop, but people I really respect, they always, every time they hear my stuff, they're like, man, you can hear the Chicago, man. It's just,
you can't escape it.
It's just Chicago soul. So, all of my beats, I just try to incorporate some soul, man. Free Lunch 7 is really, it kind of almost sounds like blaxploitation music. Like, it could have been like, something. But when I make stuff, I make music, I want it to be something that'll translate everywhere. So, you can put it on in the car and you can ride from state to state and, just have a good time. It ain't gonna overpower you. I can let it have a track that'll overpower you with drums and stuff like that. But I wanted to have that ride feeling. You want to sit back, have you a glass of bourbon or something, like, you could do that.
You
could do that.
Definitely. And so then the other question. So when it comes to like working with artists, because I know so much of what you do, of course, like social media, of course, what you're known for. You're known, of course, for beat making and production, of course, and then of course being in competitions. What is it like? How different is it? Like, how does that experience change when you're working with artists?
So it doesn't change too much because for me with the beat battles, I don't consider myself a beat battle producer. So I don't consider myself a beat battle producer.
So like if you're a battle rapper, you wouldn't consider yourself a battle rapper. You say you're an artist that makes records that is going to battle.
I'm a producer that makes beats that can be played in the battle. That's the way I look at it. I look at it. That's the way I approach because it's like when I make something, it's like, okay, if I'm not specifically making something for like, R&B that's just intentionally meant to be on the lighter side. Yeah. On the normal day-to-day when I'm making something with artists in mind, I do always keep the actual fact of, hey, because people want me to play stuff live or something like that, or maybe people want to hear beats online, or may want me to come up to like a Beat Freak show and play something. I have that thought in my mind, like, okay, this has got to be exciting enough to play in front of a crowd. So it's like the beat battle aspect those beats are always going to be interesting for the most part. You know, the ones that know how to beat battle, it's going to be a crazy, interesting. Like, I mean, sheesh. But you know, you gotta. I try to find a balance where I can do that, but still, if there was an artist in the room that said, "I want that right now," I could say, "Here you go." I don't have to go take out all these transitions and fills and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Minor stuff. If we have to, I can move certain arrangements or something like that. So that's just the way I look at it.
I like that explanation. Yeah. I like that explanation, especially for people if you don't dabble in making music or where you explain with the transitions and the fills and et cetera. In a beat battle, you're trying to build up anticipation and excitement with the way that the beat moves. But in a normal song, you don't need all of that because the voice is going to carry it.
Yeah, because you have to find the space. When you want to have the artist is going to need space. Like I've had artists tell me in the past before, like I can't really find it. It's dope, but I can't find the space in it, or it's hard for me to write to. And while that's kind of like a double-edged sword or a backhanded compliment almost to a degree, because it's like, okay, what you mean? Like,
like it ain't good.
Like, is it not good or is it good? Like, what are you saying? But I guess the thing is, what they're saying is, you know, they're having trouble finding the right pocket to rhyme in or to sing in.
Yep.
So, and one of the things I recently had to learn too, just even with some of my drum programming, is not every drum pattern has to be super crazy. A lot of times it's about the sounds that you choose,
quality, and
where you put your breaks, because once you can find that space, you build. It's like building. It's like Legos or putting together Thomas the Train Engine track or something like that.
Yeah,
make sure the pieces fit. It's got to lead somewhere to your next break or your next drop or something like that, just so you build the story. Like when I'm putting my drums together, I'm thinking like, okay, what am I saying here? I may drop a feel on the one because in my mind I'm saying something just quick here for them 1 to 2 bars, and then we back into the verse, we back into it. Yeah. So, but some artists, they don't like that because some artists just don't want to be challenged. I mean, we just keep it a beat.
Touche. That's straight up. Is what it is.
Some artists don't want to be challenged, and they don't want to find the pocket for it. And you know, a lot of these artists really, it's a good number of artists that don't really know what their sound is either, or what they want to rap to. Because not everybody sounds good on trap beats. Not everybody sounds good on boom bap beats. No. You have to just figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So next question I have, and this one makes a lot of sense. So, of course, if somebody were to hear your music, well, not online or at a live event, I know a lot of times you'll have folks that'll come up to you like, hey, I want, artists, hey, I'm interested in working with you. Maybe we can collab on some stuff. Have you ever had an artist by chance, especially with your sound, because you have a signature sound, and it's definitely something that's unique to you.
Yeah.
Do you ever have artists that come up to you and still ask you to make a tight beat?
Yeah. Yep. Say, I want something like I'm trying to think, what was the craziest one? The craziest one I had somebody like they literally told me they on the phone saying, I want the beat to do boom boom bop boom, and I'm like, and he said, I want airplane sound on this. And I was like, you want the airplane transition over? I'm like, okay, let me see how I'm gonna do that. So I was like, you want an airplane sound over there? And I was like, yeah, he never got that beat. But
I was about to say, no shade to whoever asked for that, but you knew what you wanted. You knew exactly what you wanted.
But for the most part, when people ask me that, like, I was talking to another friend of mine about that too, and he was saying, my homie Tip Beats, shout out Tip, he was saying, a lot of artists really don't know exactly what they want. Like when they ask for that type of stuff, you have to explain, you do it your way, kind of probe deeper into those type of questions like, well, what do you listen to right now? Who you inspired by, like, and then you can kind of go off there. You don't have to try to imitate it, but you just do it in your way. So that's what's helped me, a little bit more than kind of overthinking, man, I got to make this sound exactly like that. Yeah. Now it's just kind of like, I can do that, but it's just going to be in my way of doing it. So it's either you'll like it or you're not. Yeah. But it'll be another beat for the backlog for someone else that may come along. So yeah.
Like you can't just walk up to somebody and say, hey, yo, I want a Zaytoven beat. No, that's Beethoven's way of doing the
Right.
beat. So you're gonna get a different style. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And like I said, and the reason why I asked that now is, of course, with what you do, technology is involved.
Yeah.
And we know technology is always evolving.
Yeah.
Right? And I got to bring up this question because this one was one, because you know what I was going to ask.
Uh-oh, I know it's coming.
Yeah.
So, and this is a series of questions. So, of course, you know, so FL Studio or other tools, like you said, like Ableton's, all those
Logic.
types of things, Logic, they were all disruptors to technology that came before them. Of course, like to the MPC,
Tascam,
you know, to keyboards, you know, SP12, all that. What do you think about, what's your opinion on AI, especially AI, like with tools like Suno, when it's coming out of music production?
Oh man. Oh boy. Y'all got time?
Yeah.
Man. So this is my thing with the digital works, the DAWs versus working in the box. I don't think, as much as the producers and engineers that work in the box, you know, may have hated the transition to working in digitally, I don't think it's nothing in comparison to the AI piece of it, because the difference between going from, you know, analog to digital is you still needed to be able to play to some degree. You still needed to know, okay, this is what this is supposed to sound like. You still needed an ear.
Music theory.
You still needed an ear for music and to be able to understand how to put chords together, where drums go. The difference with the AI is which a lot of the bigger companies and some of these other execs and other producers that advocate for it say is cutting out the middleman, which it really is, because they're just taking something or taking an idea, a prompt, saying I want a beat to sound like a 70s reggae with minimal transitions or whatever, and then just having it prompt out something and then either not doing anything else to it and just putting it out, or, you know, just it's not the same, like, because I'll agree there's an ethical way to use AI. I mean, there's ethical way, but there's also those who aren't going to be ethical with it, and that's just the way life is. Like even with loops today, samples, like we got producers that's not going to take a sample and chop it up or do anything else to it. They're just going to lay it out, throw the drums on it, which is fine. I mean, I don't care how you use it. If it sounds good, it sounds good. Like the only people that care about how you made it is unfortunately us. We don't.
Yeah, exactly.
We the only ones that care about how you made it. But I mean, to the average listener, they don't care. But I think what happens is, and where the problem comes in with the AI piece is, since you are cutting out the middle person, you're cutting out the session drummers, the session bass players.
You're cutting the economy.
Yeah, you're cutting all of these different people out. You're trying to cut out the engineers, because they also have the AI mastering now. So it's just different. So you're cutting out all these different people, these middlemen, because you want to save a buck. But what happens when everybody's music sounds the same, everybody's mastering sound the same, because AI can only be derivative. It's not original.
That's it.
It's not original.
That's it.
So, you know, when that starts to be enough and it floods because everybody's trying to compete, because what happens is somebody makes it popular all the time and then everybody wants to follow suit. Yeah. So when everybody is oversaturated, when it's oversaturated with AI stuff, everything sounds the same. And I mean, we kind of already dealing with a lot of music sounding the same right now, because just the landscape and what's being promoted and people following the trend. A lot of these labels are not genuinely looking for new talent. They're looking for social media
personalities.
They're looking for personalities that just may or may not, mostly may not know how to rap. So like, if we can influence, you can get on social media and, you know, garner followers and stuff like that. And that's really all they care about. And AI is just, everybody, it's just a race to be first with AI, man. That's what it's coming down to. This whole thing with Timbaland and Suno and some of the other labels, even the they was doing like the UMG. What was it? UMG versus, I think it was the other. It's a smaller company it's UMG versus the people that advocate. It's like another group that advocates for the use of AI music, and they claim it's fighting for the rights of us maintaining our ownership if we use AI. Mm-hmm. But it's still not advocacy, and it's not ownership, because if you read the terms on Suno, you still don't own the tracks that you generate unless you pay for the premium. And then there is no official copyright for AI music. And a lot of companies are saying, like, especially on Instagram, you see on Instagram, it says before you make a post, they want to know if you use excessive AI, you need to say, you have to put that there. Otherwise, they're going to snatch your post down. So,
because and I'm going to jump on this because they got to put this point in here. The reason for that is that AI is not a person, and it has no rights. Mm-hmm. It's a literal slave. Yeah. So who owns the product of the slave? The owner. Mm. So you literally are giving your rights directly to whoever owns what created. Yeah. So that's why I dislike it so much. And like you're talking about, like cutting out the middleman, is because what people don't realize is, first of all, the whole reason why people make music is so that we can have a creative expression. Right. And that only comes from a souled individual. Yeah. That's it. Mm-hmm.
Because the way I may play bass may be different from the way this person plays bass. Yeah. And if AI is listening, let's just say I did officially play bass. Let's say I officially was a bass player, and I took and AI took both of me and another bass players, listened to all our music and built this algorithm around that, right? Yeah. Where's it going to, it's not going to either choose one or the other. Like between those two prompts, it's always going to be one or the two. Whichever one it takes out, it's not going to be the AI said I'm going to do it this way instead. It's not going to be any middle ground, because AI is not going to be able to generate, it's going to sound like somebody. Yeah. So, AI is, I don't know. It's tricky.
You ready? I'm going to tease. AI is a really good way of telling people you're going to steal their stuff without saying you steal it. I'm not going to lie. That's just what it is. Yeah. Because AI is all, and when they tell you what it is, these are model-based learning systems. Yeah. Look it up in the dictionary. See what that means. Type that into Google and see what a model-based learning system is. It's me taking information or data from one place and using it to make make educational decisions or make decisions based on information. Meaning basically you're just hustling somebody's stuff. Yeah. It's hustling the stuff.
Yeah. It doesn't exist without the human. So, I mean,
it doesn't. Not at all. Not at all. Man, boy, I get even more upset talking about that, but I ain't gonna keep talking about that. What I guess just moving in on this, so we don't waste too much time, but could you tell us about some steps that you take to protect your beats?
So are we just talking about from being data loss, or just, other people stealing?
Well, that's a good point. Other people stealing.
Yeah. Okay.
Since we're talking about AI.
For people taking my music, once I keep all my files. When I make stuff, I have several backups of my music. Unfortunately, I did recently lose some old stuff, but learning experience, now I'm taking other precautions to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Okay. But my music is backed up, so wherever I send music, I don't worry so much, because as long as I have my sessions and it pulls up somewhere else, they know it's mine, because pretty much technically once you finish your beat, once you make your beat, it's yours. It's basically already copywritten. It's just not.
Oh, it tags it.
It's just not, legally copywritten. Yeah, yeah. So that is still your work. Yeah. So if that beat turns up somewhere else, or we've had recent scenarios where that's happened. But if that beat turns up and you're like, hey, I can prove I made this beat. I have the sessions. I have the original names and files for everything. I could present that along with the pre-RO, because you got to have your pre-RO. Yeah. That's just the extra layer you have with your pre-RO, because depending on where it gets stolen at. Now, if you're dealing with something where it's in the industry and it's if you happen to get somebody steal your beat and it's up here, it blows up, you're gonna need that PRO because I mean they're gonna try to come at you with some offers, and you know you want to make sure like nah. So those PROs, you need somebody that's between the music lawyer, PRO, somebody that can step in and do that fight for you.
So what does PRO stand for, real quick?
So the PRO, that's like I forget the exact abbreviation, but it's like your ASCAP BMI. Okay. Yeah, so it's like ASCAP BMI. And they basically go to bat for you for getting your publishing and royalties and things like that. There's other ones like sound scaling and stuff like that. They for mechanicals, there's other PROs for that. Okay. But ASCAP or BMI, those are probably like, you know, if you're starting out, those are like the two main you want to have. I got ASCAP, my publishing and just my artist page. So that's like a layer of protection. The other piece for if somebody's, you know, protecting my music is just I don't send anything exclusive without paperwork. Oh. So, yeah, I don't send anything exclusive without paperwork. So if somebody tried to say, "Oh, you gave me this beat. Why here's somebody else on it?" It's like it wasn't exclusive. You didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
Did you get a contract?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you get a contract? Because you know, I mean, as far as like sending stuff out, I don't really care. I mean, I'll send stuff out all day because sometimes I may have something that I made a long time ago that I could send and you get some inspiration from. So I don't care about that stuff. I don't even, when I do beat leases, I don't track that stuff because I'm not about to sit there like.
I know you can't use this beat in 2 days.
Yeah, you got like 2 streams left, man. You want to redo this? So it's like, you know, I don't track that stuff. But if it's exclusive, then it's kind of like, I'll draw up I got a contract template. I'll draw it up. I send it. You know, you got 30 days to sign it, send it back. So
pretty simple.
Yeah.
Got 2 questions for you as we wrap up. First question, we always ask all our guests. So how do you find balance between work and your personal life?
So between the music and personal life and just work in general outside of that, I mean, I always find time for the things I enjoy doing. I just always do, man. I'm not going to say there's an easy way to do it or try to coach other people the way to do it because, I mean, everybody's situation is different. Yeah.
True.
I mean, for me, I have the ability to find the time for the things I want to do. So after I go to work for 8 hours, you know, I can...
Say that again. Yeah, so, after you do what? After you go to work for 8 hours? Yep.
I can come home and I can spend the rest of the evening, another 3 or 4 hours playing a game or making beats. I stop and make dinner or something like that or go get dinner. And then, you know, after that, I can come back and do something else before I go.
I got to ask this. Do you have children?
Yeah, I got one son.
Be quiet.
Yeah, I got one son.
Go ahead. Yeah. See, it is possible to have children and be able to make beats.
Yeah, absolutely. My son will sit there and make beats with me sometimes.
Even better. Even better.
My son is 10. So.
Okay. I think I met your son before.
I believe he met my son. Yeah. He's 10 and he makes music. He's doing video games. So he's making music for like video games and it's coding and different art projects, stuff like that. So
I'm not gonna lie, that's why I think that's that wave that I like with the youth is making music for the content that they like to ingest. Yeah. That's a good thing. Yeah, it's a big thing.
Yeah, so he I'm a terrible teacher when it comes to making music because it's like
just do it.
It's like you just got to do it, man. You got to hear it, son. Like you got to hear it. So it's like,
oh Lord Jesus,
making beats. He like, how do I do this, Dad? And I was like, man, if you don't hear it, you can't hear it. Like, you gotta. So I'm like, he'll play. I'm like, just play the beat. And I'll hear it. And I'll be like, okay, you need to take your note up right here, man. Take this note. All that is fine, but just take this note, move it up here. Play it again. Now that makes sense, don't it? He said, yeah, that do make more sense. I'm like, yeah, because it's in key now. So
you crushing him. Question, does he know where to put a snare at?
Yeah.
All right, good. He already better than we were.
Yeah, he knows now.
Started good. He said he knows now.
At first, you know, he was, because he was, I think when he first started messing with my MPC, he was probably like 7.
Oh, wow.
Beating around on the pads and stuff. And I was telling him just over, you know, gently, like, you know, it sounds good, but you know, you got to make it make sense. That's all. You got to make your music make sense, or your drums make sense, because he would have one part that sounds really good, and next thing you know, it's crashes. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, it's cool, son, but yeah, it's got to make sense though. Like, it's got to make sense.
And the final question: what current projects are you working on, and how can we support you?
Yeah, so currently Freelance 7 is out now on Bandcamp. It will be dropping on like all the other DSPs. I'm in partnership with Ja Freedom. Beat Freak. So,
shout him out.
Yeah, shout out Ja Freedom, man. All my Beat Freak generals, man. Shout out to y'all. And we partnering just to split the royalties and spread whatever awareness just to bring more people to the Beat Freak environment. And shout out Starlight too, man. They always nice and let us there. So just wanting that to be around because for whatever reason, people in Charlotte, other producers always saying, man, we ain't got nowhere to play beats. Yes, you do.
Oh, you just need to show up.
Yes, you do. You have places. There are plenty places, plenty events for you to come out and do this stuff. So, but yeah, Freelance 7. I am working on Freelance 8. Freelance 8 is most likely going to be, it's basically already done. But
Wow.
I made so many beats prepping 7. I just ended up finding the lane I wanted to go with 7, so I have all these other beats. So now it's like, taking what my next vision is for 8 and just kind of seeing all of those align and maybe making some new stuff. But the plan was in between 8, I was going to release another beat tape. Just, this one a little bit more focused on more of a modern sound. I mean, everything might make sounds modern, but these are like, more of like the heavy 808, not trap stuff, but still in my style, but just heavy 808, more of a digital sound, I would say.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool. And social media.
Yeah. So social media, I'm not huge into social media, but
No, you aren't.
no, I'm not like a poster every single day.
No, you aren't. I saw that. You ain't lying.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that you got to pop out to see me, man.
Yeah, you really got to come out to see
You just got to
him
pop
out
out
live.
to see.
You got to see him out live.
My social media is Manny Beats Shy everything. So it's Manny Beats CHI. That's Instagram, even on Facebook. But if you want to rock with me,
on Facebook.
just follow my government. Williams on Facebook. More accurate on there.
That's how I've been following him for years. Just regular name on Facebook.
On Facebook, and I'm more active on my government just because it's just easier, man. A lot of times, like being a content creator is not easy.
No, it's not. It's not.
People don't realize it's not just getting in front of a camera and turning on, hitting the live button. Yeah, it's a lot more to it.
Preparation, everything, editing, everything.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say, what you're gonna do.
Yeah, say what you're gonna do. Because a lot of times I know for me personally, after I'm finished a beat, like I've expended most of my energy on that beat, so it's like I don't want to have to go and do all this extra stuff. That's just I don't want to personally do it. It's just a lot.
I just made the beat. Now I got to get in front of y'all for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's just a thing, but. I'm getting better about that. I'm learning. Ja told me, he said, you don't change your mindset about the content creation part. You have a product. So
you have a product.
You have to look at it like I'm advertising my product.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I because a lot of times I get in my own head and I'm like, man, my studio setup don't look like this person's, or I don't have this person's stuff. So it's like, are they gonna like that?
Yeah, wise words.
Yeah. They don't care because them kids do nowadays. They make beats on their phone. They be getting their little broke up laptop, be walking around making that beat and then yelling on the phone. And then they put it out and then all of a sudden they blowing up.
Right. Yeah, man.
So yes.
That's true. That's facts.
But man, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all too.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah, before I forget, I'm up here slipping out, slacking on my pimping. Make sure I get this information here. I like to make sure we do this properly. Studio. Make sure I'm correct. Yes, I'm good. All right, so I just want to shout out real quick since we're in here today. We're in Asylum Digital Recording and Mixing Studio here in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's located at 226 Westinghouse Boulevard, suite number 304. Phone number for it is 704-492-9289. We really want to thank Scott Slagle for allowing us to use the space today. Beautiful space in here, and we love to come here when we're in Charlotte to do our podcast and meet everybody. It's right on the state line, so we can get in, we can get out. So we get in, we can get out. But if you do need to book a session to have something mixed or work on something, please drop them a call. Go to their website at asylumdigital.com. From there, you can see their rates and what they have to work with. They have lots of equipment in here, lots of good gear. You can get stuff from analog, digital, work on it how you want to work at it, and you'll get a sound that you will be pleased with. Outside of that, we appreciate you for being here on the show today.
Appreciate y'all.
This is DJ and what?
Skip.
Maya.
And our esteemed guest.
Manny Beats.
We appreciate you so much.
Sir,
Thank you so much, brother.
Doubt.
Until the next time, make sure you tell somebody next to them that you love them and you appreciate them. Peace.
The Hilltop Girl Podcast.